All right, let's make it official and start. Thank you everyone for showing up. Um, it's really beautiful to see your faces and your commitment and devotion to this, and also the fact that it's a really important practice today for our journey together moving forward. It's gonna be given by Allegra, who is here with us, and I'm gonna share a little bit about her. I know her for many years. She was also long time ago my client, and I see her transformation over the years. She's teaching in a school in India called Sattva, and she's teaching the traditional Tantra lineage, and she's gonna pass down to us a morning practice. She's gonna give us more information about its element of it and all those things. I just want to let you know who she is, where she's coming from, and her journey. She is very well experienced with fasting as well because she's been part of the containers in the past. And it is very important, and I realized that myself too, that when we have an anchor in the morning, it sets our day. And it's not only something to attend to wake up to and, go to your pillow, lit up your candle and just set your day. It is also this inner stability that we bring through rituals and through consistency to showing up to something like a rhythm. And I see that with myself too, because all of you know that I travel a lot, and a question I get the most is like, how do you do it to not get affected by the traveling? And I say, actually, my morning practice is the one that gets me grounded, gets me in the rhythm, and I don't feel that I have changed a location because this in the morning it is identical every day, and it develops, it grows, like I had my breathing and my meditation practice. Allegra a couple of months ago gave me something extra for me to practice, and I added another 20 minutes in my morning practice, then 20 minutes of exercise. So now it's become an hour and a half, and I don't ask you to have an hour and a half of practice in the morning. This is mine, which I love adding things. But the invitation is to keep it short, like what Allegra will give us today is 20-25 minutes maximum. And then you can incorporate it to what you already have, or you can replace it, right? But the most important thing is that I would like you to commit to a morning practice. Whether is this a combination of what you're doing with Allegra's, what is going to pass down to us today, or one or the other, it's up to you. But moving forward for the work that we do with me in this program, I really would like you to have this as a commitment. All right. And I know that few of you already have a morning practice because we have spoken about it. And then you can, have your own preferences and see how it can blend. Um, it all comes down also to devotion. There is something that I realized through this fast, and I don't want to keep it long, but I'm not fasting this round. It's day 3 for our container because in 10 days I'm doing my moon dance. But I realized that uh, when I keep showing up every month to my ritual of fasting, it is a devotional act, and that devotional act has a ripple effect to other areas in my life. And the last 2-3 months, I haven't been able to fast because traveling, because now moon dance and so on. And I can see my devotion is losing a little bit its grip in other areas of life too. All right. So I'm just with a lot of like vulnerability and transparency sharing that with you, what I observed this month. And that is the reason also why and how important it is that morning practice to be consistent, because it holds us as a foundation. It's like an anchor in the morning, and it will be your anchor anywhere you go. All right. Okay, so enough with me and my sharing. So let's pass this down to Allegra. We're going to have the first kind of like 20-30 minutes where she's passing down information and explain to us every element of it. And the last 20 minutes, we're going to practice all together. So you also kind of like be here with us. And at the end, if you have any questions, please feel free to ask. So when you leave, the session today, you are sure what you're doing. Okay. Okay, let's pass this down. Allegra, thank you for being here. I'm very
Thank you.
grateful and blessed to have you.
Thank you very much. I'm very happy to be here. Hello, everyone. Um, I want to leave this space as a conversation, not a monologue. So feel free to ask any kind of question or stop me or raise the hands. There is the function. And we can really like also connect through that. I'm very happy to bring this to you all. I understood that some of you already have a practice, a morning practice. What we're gonna do today together is a Kriya based sadhana. Kriya, it comes from the Himalayan tradition, and the Kriyas are techniques where we work with our life force. When we work with the Kundalini, and when we work, that's also become a tantric work, because Tantra in his essence is working with energy and is learning technique and learning through repetition how to embody specific energy. This is Tantra. Tantra is going and embody God consciousness, which is bringing into the body specific energy and being able to manipulate energy. So the sadhana, the set, it's a set of 20 minutes where we use mainly the breath, but also movement of the hands that create a specific movement in the nervous system, and eventually, as if you are all open, because I will give you a little bit like possibility to adapt the set based on what really is in resonance with you. One of the technique, the last one, has mantra, so you will let me know if you know about mantra or no. I can explain better, but if you know, we keep moving. But if there is no resonance for you in the mantra, you can also do it without. So you don't have to do anything that is not in resonance with you in this moment. And the set, we call it sadhana because Violetta touched one of the most important point, which is this consistency. The repetition. Sadhana means daily practice and also means attunement. So the point is structured in a way that allow us to attune vertically before interacting horizontally in life. So that's also why we do it as first things in the morning. One reason is because it's the moment where we have more self-commitment, where we have more spark. And the other one is because, as Violetta said, it set the quality of the day. So our state is very influenced by the rhythm of our breath. And so we start the day by giving a specific tempo to our breath. And that creates a capacity of the system to be in resilience and to go back to that tempo. So it's beautiful that Violetta linked it to devotion, because in the yogic tradition, sadhana is really into your devotion to the vertical relationship. So the relationship with the self, with the higher self, with the earth. One thinks as a sadhak, as a sadhana practitioner, the first things that we do when we wake up is to put the foot on the ground and recognize that we are putting the foot on our mother. So this is how you set your awareness. But then this specific, it's a technique with the breath that regulate your system, and it's called Kriya, because Kriya also in the Vedanta philosophy, the meaning of Kriya is spontaneous right action. So basically, when you look into the tradition, there is the understanding of karma and dharma. Karma is not what happened to you, but is you responding to life always in the same way. So we have, I don't know, I speak about myself. I have the tendency to shut down when I have to deal with a confrontation. So if every time that I deal with a confrontation, I just shut down, I'm repeating my own karma. I'm generating then the same feedback from reality, but because I'm creating the same response. Dharma actually is when you decide to stop responding in the karmic way, stop reacting in the karmic way, and decide to respond in an evolutionary way. And that is entering the dharmic path, which is uncomfortable. We know sometimes it's uncomfortable to say, okay, I'm gonna change my way of being, my way of responding, my way of doing, my way of relating. But that is, I'm choosing the path of evolution. And when you do that action, that it's a little bit also hard to do sometimes, is the act of kriya. It's the evolutionary action that move you from a karma to dharma. And it translates in the techniques. It translates to the fact that the techniques not only harmonize the nervous system, regulate the nervous system, harmonize the vagus nerve, but also harmonize the entire energy system. So your way to respond to life is more naturally, spontaneously evolutionary, is less karmic, because it gives you this radiance that naturally your way to respond to life is more in line with your higher expression. But also because every morning you have this tune in, align to your center. And then it become, if you keep repeating, it become easier for you in the moment of the storm to say like, wait, I know how it feels to be in alignment. Boom. And you come back. But of course it requires repetition, because we didn't learn, like we don't come to life, at least with this state of consciousness, with that memory and with that capacity. And we really need even just 20 minutes. 20 minutes is not random. 20 minutes is the minimum to start to generate new pattern in the brain. And the set is structured in a way that you don't have only one technique, and that it make the time more dynamic and experience faster and deeper in its way. But then from that state you can stay there, you can journal after a sadhana, you can just stay connected to the heart, you can meditate after the sadhana. Yes, and the kriya, they come from the Himalayas. So if you are curious where this technique come from, is the Himalayan lineage. So it comes from the great mountain of India. Yes, so it really works at all the level of the bodies, from your physical bodies to your mental body to the subconscious. Kriya really start to align the system and help the system to respond in an evolutionary way. It's beautiful to see it in action. And another thing that I want to suggest you is to create your altar, your space. Probably, maybe all of you have, but if you do your sadhana always in the same space, it's a little bit as eating always at the same time. So the body is like, it knows when you sit in that spot, it knows that you are tuning in. Yes, so I don't want to give you too much in terms of general information, and I'm hoping to receive any question on this part, and then I will give you the breakdown of the technique, and I will explain you the technique and how they works on us. But if you want any question about kriyas or about this lineage or sadhana, you can ask, or mantra. Okay.
So, 1 second. Are we all familiar with mantras? Is anybody who is not familiar with mantra? Okay, we're all familiar here. At least whoever is live. Sweet.
Okay. Just to give maybe a little adding a little bit on mantra. Sanskrit is more than a language to speak, is a language of attunement of the body through the force, attune the body to the force of the universe and life. So how we move the, for example, Ganesh, that we all know, Ganesha. It's actually a movement of the tongue that does like this, pam, and it creates a structure in the nerve. It creates a flow of energy in the nervous system. So it's not really about the word itself, but it's about the movement of one of the most dynamic organ that we have, the tongue and the palate, and movement of energy in our system. In the mantra that we're gonna use is actually a bija mantra, which bija means seed, so it doesn't have a meaning, it's pure sound. We're gonna use Soham, the main, probably you know, it's quite famous bija mantra, but the bija is pure frequency, pure sound, and when we vibrate that sound, we start to go in resonance with the frequency that we are vibrating, and it starts to come alive in us. When we repeat enough a mantra, it really come alive in us, and when it comes alive in us, we call it siddhi, having the siddhi of the mantra, the blessing of the mantra. And you can start to dream the mantra, you can wake up with the mantra running, and it's an incredible anchor that you can do also in your daily life when you feel out of alignment, when you cannot focus, which is happen a lot for us because we have a lot of stimulus. When we feel we have no focus, we use japa, but you can use whatever you want, and you just go with the mantra, so hum, and you're recalibrating your focus. Instead of spinning around and find the stimulus outside to understand what you want or where you are, you just go back to the mantra. It's very powerful technology that we use. Yes, so the beauty of also this set is that if you practice it, you will become very intimate with it, and you will understand how it interacts with you, and you can break it. You will have in this set, you will have a technique that is more activating, is harmonizing the fire, it's cleaning the digestive system, and it's like a shot of coffee, to make it simple. So you know that technique, when you are like down during the day and you need a spark of energy, you can just do that technique, even 1 minute, 2 minutes. So if you keep doing it, because of course it will come to you if you do it, because you start create a relationship with the techniques and the practice. And another practice is very centering, so you will feel, okay, I can use it. Another practice is very good for the spine, that then we're gonna go together, and you can even split it and just take parts during your day on different moments. Good. So I'll explain you one by one the technique before we practice together. Please stop me if you have any question. Okay, don't hesitate. The first technique is breath of fire. It's breath of fire combined with a game, a play with the finger and the nose and the nostril. We call it Nadi Shodhana. And the breath itself, we focus on the exhalation. The inhalation, it will come naturally. And when we exhale, we pump the navel in. So it's easy to feel it if you do with the mouth open as the dog. When the dog sweats, it does like... But we do it from the nose. At the beginning, if you never did it, it can be a bit tricky, but it's gonna lock it fast. So when I'm exhaling, the belly goes in. But fast. So we are activating the guts. We are activating the fire at the navel. And it's a very harmonizing the center of our energy, cleansing the digestive system, reinforcing the digestive system. And we do it. This that I show you is the pure breath of fire, but we do it with the position of the hand, because we're gonna work on the two part of the brain to create this mirror. And you put the index and middle finger between your eyebrows, and then you close the right nostril. You inhale from the left, and then you close the left, open the right, and exhale through the right. And we do 1 minute or 45 seconds on inhaling through the left, exhaling through the right. Then we stop, and then we do inhaling to the right, we change. We do the other side. So to show you, slow, inhaling through the left, close the left, open the right, exhaling through the right, but the navel goes in. Then I close, I open. Eyes are closed. And at one point you will find your own rhythm and you will start to speed up and it's going to become faster. Mainly we are cleansing because the exhalation is strong. We are cleansing all the right side of the body, the right nadis, and refining and aligning all the right part, and then we do it on the left. It's possible that at the beginning it's like, it's great that it's like this because you are reprogramming the brain. You're keeping your brain, you're keeping your brain like, okay, let's make it interesting. Let's learn something new. And then you will get it and you will just get into it and go. But at the beginning is very nice because, especially when it's complicated, because you are like making like a stretch of the brain. And also breathing right and left. It's really synchronized the two hemispheres of the brain. After that, we're gonna warm up the spine. So the fluidity of our spine is very correlated to the fluidity of our nervous system. When we have stiff, like the spine is stiff and the back is stiff, the nervous system is very contracted and the main energy passing through the spine, and we have the vagus nerve there. So in this technique we just open like this. You inhale, the hands are open, and you arch the spine, open the chest, and then when you exhale you close your hands into fist and you really round the shoulder and round the spine, and you close. And when you inhale through the nose and exhale through the mouth. So you inhale and then exhale. And when you exhale through the mouth, it's for you also the space to use the power of your sound and voicing, and it's like it can be like expanding and releasing, but it can be also opening and like facing the new, and then like ground into your center. No, you close and you ground into the center, and the navel goes in. So it's like this. And your focus is on your spine. Okay. The third technique, the hands are, no, and actually we do like this. The hands are, interlace your finger under your head, behind. We inhale, so the technique before, you're very you're warming up the spine. This technique that we do now, you don't do it without warming up the spine. First you warm up even just a couple, and then you do this technique. This technique is to move in the other axe, the spine, which is the center of your power, and bring the energy up. So in this, very simple, you interlace the finger back. When you turn to the right, you inhale through the nose, and when you turn to the left, you exhale through the mouth, but the mouth has a O shape, like kind of having a straw. And you do like this. And then we stop, we inhale, hold the breath, and then we exhale. If there is any pregnancy, we don't hold the breath. And when we bleed, if we don't feel to pump the navel, we don't do it. It's not necessary. I don't do it. I don't really like to pump the navel when I'm bleeding, because when we bleed, the flow of the energy is going down. And when we do all this pumping and also this, we are actually pushing the flow up. So if you bleed, you can avoid the pumping and you can avoid this. But if you feel that a gentle this to warm up the spine, you feel nourished by that, you do it. Yes. And after that, we go into the last one that is more meditative. And it's a combination of position of the hands, what we call it mudra. The mudra create a circulation of the energy, specific one. And this one is the mudra. The first one is prana, so index and middle finger extended, the other finger up. And then apana, so you move the palms goes down, back, down, and from here you just bring the middle finger to the thumb and you extend the pinky. This is apana. This is the flow of energy that goes down. When we bleed, we are most of the time in the pana flow. So this is very helpful to release. And this is uplifting and giving vitality, the prana flow up. And we combine it with the breath. We breathe in prana, and we breathe out through the nose in apana. And if you want, you can combine it with the mantra, which is so. Inside, you repeat so while you breathe in, and hum when you breathe out. If for any reason you don't want to use the mudra, you don't use it. If you don't want to use the mantra, you don't use it. If you don't do the mantra, I could suggest you to use the mudra. One or the other one I suggest you to use. To not being only having to focus on the breath, but have another anchor of attention that keep your body there and your mind there. If
Allegra,
you want, yeah.
how many minutes we do each practice?
So so it's 45 seconds or 1 minute, the breath of fire. 3 minutes, 4 minutes, the spine. 2 minutes, this. And then you do 10 minutes of the meditation with the Soham. And in time you can start to make it longer if you want. Especially the breath of fire, it can arrive to 2 minutes at the beginning, starting with 2 minutes of breath of fire. It can be intense. So 45 seconds is okay, and then you can build it up. But like this is like 15-20 minutes practice. And then after the meditation, we will have a couple of days at the heart. So we always close to the gratitude at the heart. We always close at the heart.
Can I ask a question?
Yes.
Um, I'm curious how this regulates the nervous system because it always seems to be two camps of opinion on these kind of kriyas that some people say they regulate the nervous system and others say they can actually activate more of the sympathetic system. So if you're already dysregulated, it's not going to be helpful. So, yeah, could you speak on that, please?
Yes, of course. Thank you for the question. I never look at it from the perspective of it can dysregulate you, because mainly it works on the vagus nerve and on and with your breath, creating a very meditative state. Um, so I personally never experienced one time to get out of a set when I feel I'm there, um, not in a meditative state. Um, but mainly you work with your breath, you work with stabilizing your breath, you make it very slow, the breath, even if you start fast, but then you end up always slow. And for me, like all the work that you do with the spine through all the vagus nerve and the vibration inside, it really creates actually the harmony for that and the relaxation of the nervous system. I I can look into this, that I never look into this idea that can actually activate the parasympathetic. Um, I never had the experience of getting out of that agitated. I had the experience of being tough for me to stay, to do the set, and be like, oh no, I don't want to do it, I will do it later. But every time that I do it, it actually is centering me very much. Yes, but it's a beautiful feedback to give. Like when I work with people, I work also one to one and group, but always is like, let me know how the practice feels for you. For example, I have a person that work with me, that she suffer of panic attacks, strong panic attack. So that breath for her, it remember her the panic attack. So we use other technique. And she tried, she was like, no, I want to try because I want to activate my fire end. But then she was like, I'm agitated. So actually we use pranapana or other technique like alom vilom to actually calm down the breath. And we cleanse in another way with other type of breath, less fast. And so I'm very happy to, if you go into this and practice, you feel free to bring your experience and say like, I don't resonate with that techniques, and I'm happy to give another technique and see how it goes. But yes, and always first listen to your body and go with your rhythm, especially in the fast technique where the breath is faster.
I would like to
Yes,
share something.
please.
How I experiencing it, because this is not one, we're not, it's not only breath or fire and you end your practice at breath or fire. Because anything that has more um, fast breathing techniques, it will increase sympathetic activation. And then the practice doesn't stop there. That is the reason why the rest of the techniques that are coming in to activate the parasympathetic. So yes, there is an activation because that's what the breath of fire and some other fast breathing techniques do, but it doesn't lock you there. How I see it is it's followed by a parasympathetic setting, because after that there is certain breathing techniques and mudras that activates now the parasympathetic. And the activation is part of the process, but it doesn't let you end the process in that. It continues to activating now the parasympathetic. And now, how I have been observing it and experiencing it myself is that it's teaching me in real life how can I navigate both. When I am in activation of parasympathetic, I also know what tools to bring in to bring myself in a regulated state. Because what is the nervous system? We cannot be constantly regulated. That's not the purpose of nervous system, right? It is to know how to bring yourself back to parasympathetic. And I think uh, in my experience doing this sequence, which I have a different technique from Allegra, um, it does that. Yes, it has the activation, and then you continue to activate the parasympathetic. That's how I see it. If I have to share my own experience and insight of how those sequences work. I don't know if Leila, you received your um, answer to your question.
Yeah, I mean, for me, it's yeah, curiosity, and also, I've done these practices for many years, but I actually stopped doing them for like the last 8 months because of the health stuff. And I love these practices. And yeah, I
Mhm.
do always feel, um, yeah, in my experience, it's like what you say, it creates this flexibility of like we have to activate ourselves to then get to the parasympathetic. But I think occasionally there are moments in life where it's not appropriate, like when you're really fatigued. It has been like you're pushing yourself, but yeah, I don't feel like that now. But I was just curious because
Mhm.
everyone says different things, and yeah.
No, it's really good questions because people
This
will watch the recordings and they will, have their own questions. So the more we kind of like elaborate on those things, we give more insights to
yes.
whoever wants to understand more. My curiosity to my to you to your experience would be more, were you stopping your activated fast breathing experience to that, or they were followed by activating the parasympathetic? Like that, did I have this harmonious balance between the two?
Yeah, they did. I always would end with like Nadi Shodhana, very
Hmm.
slow breathing, and go into meditation. But
Hmm.
there's times where when my fatigue was really bad, that doing that I noticed would leave me quite exhausted. But that was when my health was really, really bad. Maybe also, yeah, there's also an element where you're oxygenating yourself, which can help with energy. But then yeah, if there's no reserves, then it can be challenging.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Like Allegra said, we feeling into it. You see how it sits in your body, and this is the practice that it has a sequence. And if for any reason, any of that sequence, it doesn't feel in resonance, like Allegra explained in the beginning, you can reach out to me, or we can have Allegra. We haven't agreed to that if she will be available to actually modify things or not, but we can,
Yeah.
and then we can
Yeah.
explore deeper, myself and Allegra on a different layer. Um, but yeah, it's like you meet yourself where you at, and the sequence is not to leave you in activation of sympathetic, right? And then we see how it lands in our bodies, in our system, and in the vagus nerve.
And also the sequence is like it's a activation, centering and calming, activation again and calming, and you can really, for example, when we have when we bleed, you can take the activation out, and you can just do the spinal breath, this one, and then you can do the meditation with the mantra. And yes, kriyas are very activating often, um, but from my experience and the vastness of the technique that I received, there are a lot of technique that are very, very calming and grounding and more nourishing. Some of them you can do it laying down. But if there is a tendency to focus, because our society has this tendency to focus on the fire, or keep going, let's go. Um, but really play with those technique, and even just doing this 10 minutes, it's great. It's amazing because you are committed to yourself. And one aspect in the Vedic teaching, the Vedanta, we call it tapas. It's the fire of discipline, which is the spark of devotion. And tapas is this fire that we cultivate through repetition. And tapas give us tejas, which is the luminosity of our own being, because we are keep committing to ourselves, and then our self-esteem increase, our luminosity increase, our magnetism increase, because we are tending our own fire. So even if you just do 10 minutes of apana pranapana, but you keep doing it, you keep showing up for yourself, you are increasing your tejas, your luminosity, through tending your own fire, tapas. It's very beautiful, and you will experience it. Or maybe you already experience it because you already have another practice, and or even you choose to be consistent on something, and when you do it, it's like, oh, I did it. No? Okay. So I will guide you the techniques. But if you have any question on each technique, we can review them. Otherwise, we go in the session. We go in our practice together.
Beautiful. Yes, I think everybody could sit comfortably or somewhere. Allegra, how do we sit? We sit
Yes.
cross-legged or we sit on a pillow?
So it's very important that you're always seated on a pillow. You can also sit on a chair, but not straight on the ground and not on a sofa that is like bloop. It has to sustain you because it's important that your hips are higher than your knees. So if you stay in the lotus position, put as many pillows as you want because it protects your lower back. Otherwise, we end up like this. So you put as many pillows as you want, or you can also sit on a chair and don't cross your legs. Put both feet on the ground. If you can, it's not me that I'm stuck. Okay. If you can stay, since also it's hot, without socks, it's great because there is an exchange of the field with the feet. Yes. Okay. Beautiful. You can find your comfortable position. If you feel to already close your eyes, you can close your eyes. If you feel not really ready to close your eyes, you can look around, move the neck right and left. Locate yourself in the space. And also start to move your attention inwards and feel if the body needs anything, a stretch. We were sitting for long, even if you need to stand up for a second. But you start to bring your attention inside and to the needs of the body. And while you do so, you can start to relax your breath, relax the belly. Breathing in through the nose, out through the mouth. And everything else start to fade away and you come back to your center. And then you find stillness. The spine is straight, like the spine is long. You can release your weight on the pillow that you're seated on the surface that you're seated on. Shoulder relaxed, and the chin is parallel to the ground. Just take a couple of free breaths here. No control, just witnessing the breath, enjoying your own presence, enjoying to slow down. Enjoying a moment of silence. Nothing to do, nowhere to go. Belly relaxed. The breath is relaxed. You can bring the hands in Namaskaram prayer in front of your heart, or for a second, for a moment, your hands on your heart. And just take a couple of breaths here. Finding your center. Finding the equanimity at the heart. Right and left coming together at the heart. take a moment to let the heart speak. Let yourself feel. Allow whatever is alive in you right now to be seen. Welcome yourself fully. Welcome the moment fully. Deep inhalation, breathe in. Hold the breath at the top. Breath retention, and then exhale. One more. Inhale. Hold the breath. Open up, relax the shoulder. Find trust. And then exhale. Beautiful. Bring your hands on your knees. Index and middle finger of the right hand between your eyebrows. Close the right nostril with the thumb. We inhale through the left and then we switch. Close with the ring finger or the pinky, the left, open the right, and exhale. When you exhale, you pump the navel in. Start to explore this technique. Inhale through the left, exhale through the right. Keep going. If you need support, you can put the hands on the opposite hands, the left on the belly, and feel when you exhale that the belly goes in. Beautiful. Keep going. Find your rhythm. Do not burn all your energy, but find intensity. Find consistency in the rhythm of your breath. Tending the fire at the navel. Awakening all the right side of the body. Cleansing the right side. Releasing through the right side. And harmonizing the right side. Inhale. Hold the breath at the top. Sustain yourself. If you want, you can take the Mula Bandha, means squeeze at the level of the sexual organs, the reproductive system, the perineum. You're squeezing the base of the spine so the energy cannot leak down. The energy rise through your spine. And then you exhale. And then switch. Now we inhale through the right, exhale through the left. When you exhale, you pump the navel, find lengthening your spine. The chin is parallel to the ground, so the energy crosses also the neck and goes up to the point of where the finger resting. And inhale. Hold the breath. You can bring your hands down. Hold the breath. Relax the belly. Relax the shoulder. Open your heart. Radiate through your heart. Stay. The energy is rising through the spine. And exhale. Bring your arms 90 degrees bended in front of you. When you inhale, you open your hands and you arch your spine, expose your heart, expose the throat. And when you exhale, hands into fist, elbows goes to the belly, belly in, round your spine. Inhale, open up. Exhale, close. Keep going. Really awakening the energy in your spine, the intelligence in your spine. Bring fluidity in your movement, in your breath, in your spine. And find your rhythm, and when you breathe in, you expand, open up. And when you exhale, you find your center, you go back to your center ground. Maintain the tension in at your spine. Every inhalation you open up, you trust a little bit more, you expose yourself a little bit more, welcoming life a little bit more. And when you exhale, you find your center, your root, the soil that sustains you. Deep, go deep with your breath, expand your breath. You become your breath, you get into a journey with your breath, opening up, expand, trust, and then ground, find your center back. Deep, expanded breath, open up. And then with the next inhalation, stay up. Inhale completely. Hold the breath, open, sustain, elevate yourself. Mula Bandha, squeeze at the base. As you're holding at the base, energy rising through the spine, relax the shoulder. Hold, radiate from the heart. Radiate from the space between your eyebrow. Sustain. Trust. Open. And exhale. Center. Hands on your knees. Center. Center your breath. And maybe notice how is the state. Which is your state right now? Shoulder relaxed, belly relaxed. Stay within. Awareness inward. And then maintaining your eyes closed, interlace your finger, bring it back on the back of your head. Find support for your back. And open up your shoulder, open up your chest. Feel the elevation of this position. The chest is open. The chest is welcoming everything. And the spine is strong, sustaining you from the back. When you turn to the right, you inhale through the nose. When you turn to the left, you exhale through the mouth with the O shape. We start together, right? Inhale. Keep going, find your own rhythm. that you feel that fluidity and flexibility in your spine. Your awareness, your presence is at your spine, feeling this energy that is rising up gently but consistently, luminous energy rising through your spine. And inhale, hold the breath at the center, Mula Bandha, squeeze at the base, find lengthening your spine, strong spine, radiate from your heart, find your verticality, feel your aliveness, heart open, stay. And exhale. Bring your hands down. Center. Pranayapana, the last technique. In this technique, when we inhale, we take the mudra, the position of the hand. Palms are facing up, hands resting on the knees. Index and middle finger extended, touching each other. The rest of the finger, they meet the thumb at the top. Inhale.
Allegra,
Yeah.
lift your hands a little bit higher so we
Yes.
can.
Thank you. Yes. Palm facing up. And here we inhale through the nose. And at the top, we hold for a moment. And when we start to exhale, the hands are moving, rotating with the palms facing down. Pinky extended and middle finger goes to the thumb. Exhale through the nose. Beautiful. And then inhale again, prana. So palms facing up, index, middle finger extended. Inhale. And then apana. When you start to exhale through the nose, palms facing down, middle finger goes to the thumb, pinky extended. And you keep going with your rhythm, extending the breath. Make it longer and longer. If you need to look at me, you can do it. And when you feel that you have it, you go back to the eyes closed. And then we add the mantra so, S-O, so when we inhale. You repeat inside a long so, and then hum, H-A-M, when you exhale. In English, H-U-M. And you can feel the M inside when you exhale. So when you inhale, the energy, the breath moves from the base of the spine up. And hum, when you exhale, the breath, the energy moves from the top to down. Prana, apana, harmonizing the two flow of energy. Increasing and releasing. Expressing and digesting. Slow down the breath. Nowhere to go, nothing to understand or solve. It's really lose yourself in the act of breathing, in the act of vibrating the mantra. Long, spacious breath. Extend your breath, create space in your luminous breath. So the mantra is vibrating from your heart. The mind anchor on the mantra, but the mantra comes from the heart or from the womb. Nothing to do, nowhere to go. Enter a loving connection with your breath and the mantra. You can let go the mudra, the position of the hand, and keep going with the breath and the mantra a couple of times more. Belly relaxed, body relaxed, body at ease, mind at ease, energy at ease, following the mantra. Long, spacious breath. Then when you feel ready, you can let go the mantra and maybe drop a little bit more into silence, kind of letting go any control. and just drop for a moment. And then bring your hands on your heart and take a moment of gratitude at the heart. Gratitude for life, but also gratitude for something that you can locate within. Or just let the frequency of gratitude rise in your heart, and so feel it, see it, know it. It's like pouring honey on your heart and radiate the luminosity of the honey, the gold of the honey. And let this gratitude be expressed with your own words, with your own inner knowing, and about your own inner unique, also outer beautiful journey, where you are at this, you are at the center. You are at the center of your journey. And then you can let your hands move on your body, give yourself a hug, massage a little bit the body, create some gentle pressure on your body, feel the appreciation for your body. And then inhaling through the nose, exhale through the mouth. One more time, inhale through the nose, exhale through the mouth. You can warm up the hands one to each other with the other one. Bring it to your eyes. And then when you're ready, you come back to the space, before to the room, and then to the screen. Stretch your legs. Beautiful. Thank you very much. The space is more than open for any question. We went into 25 minutes because we did a little bit of starting and closing. And you can use the recording for the next days. Maybe I will send via explanate, like I will just write down each technique so you have it and you can also do it by yourself.
Thank you, Allegra. That was really beautiful. I just wanted to ask, would you recommend doing it before or after an asana practice?
Before, because then it's beautiful. What you can really do is doing the asana in the middle. The best will be that after this you do asana, so you stabilizing in the body, you integrate in the body, and then you close with stillness instead of the dynamism of the asana, and so you close with this. That would be a perfect journey. But before and after also it's good. Usually we do asana after because we are building up energy, and so through the asana you are integrating it in the body. Do not leave it too high, or you really like rebalancing all the nadis and moving in all the body. So it's very beautiful actually. Thank you.
Do we have any other questions? I think it's all clear. I would like to share on my end that I am doing a very personalized one that Allegra gave me a couple of months ago. And if you're interested to have a personalized one, which is going to be based of what you're moving through right now in life, and based also on your astrological chart. Um, Allegra is also an astrologer following the Vedic tradition. And so I was sharing with her a couple of months ago that my journey and what I would like to achieve in life and what I would like to break through and welcome more. And then we did my Vedic astrology. We looked at the transits and exactly where I am in my life. And it was very on point what I'm moving through. And then I had my personalized Sādhanā in the morning, which is way deeper um, than a more common, let's say. So if any of you feel called to advance or go deeper in that and make it super personal to where you're at, based on those elements that I shared, you can reach out to Allegra anytime. I'm gonna share her contact in the message with the recording, and then you can reach out to her and go deeper if you wish. Otherwise, this is something I highly encourage everyone to start practicing. And I have one last question for Allegra. What is the best length of days on that? For example, the one I'm doing, we said like, okay, let's do 20, but I'm doing actually 40. And in my 40 days, I will see how I feel if I want to continue for maybe doing it 3 months, right? I'm already seeing big changes,
Yeah.
and I can be very transparent with you all because why shall I hide it? I really wanted to move away from the very masculine energy, and I'm very active as a woman, and I wanted to welcome more softness and more fluidity, uh, more joy, because I'm doing a lot of subconscious work with all of you and for myself, and kind of like lost myself in that depth. And I wanted to balance that out and bring this other aspect. So I'm doing certain practices in the morning to have access to this side of me easier that I didn't have before. I had really to make an effort, and I've been very consistent with it in the morning, and I'm already seeing big changes. And I describe it to Allegra earlier today as I'm going through a death in a way, but it's not a death. It's like one thing gets quieter and the other one gets louder. And for me, it's not familiar. So it feels like, oh, what's happening? But it is happening. It is happening. And I'm very fascinated by it. And that is the reason why I wanted to welcome this practice into the container too, because I have an embodied experience. And I saw it moving through me quite fast, like within the first, like, let's say 10, the first couple of weeks, I started like noticing the changes. Now I'm already past the month, already completing my 40 days. Um, and that's what I would like to share as my personal experience and why I brought it into the container. And uh, yeah, like everybody has their own practice in the morning besides like meditation. I also do Vedic meditation every morning, like TM, and I have a 20 minutes movement as well. And I'm also doing dancing in the morning for more fluidity and moving my hips so I can bring more of that in my hips and release some tension there. So that takes me now 1 hour and a half in the morning. And honestly, I don't mind. Like, I really enjoy it and it's non-negotiable. I wake up a little bit earlier, yes, but I don't want to miss it in the morning. So it's like my non-negotiable. And can you imagine? I get so many things through that done in the morning. I get my meditation, I get my breathing in the before meditation to just like come into my parasympathetic, then going into my Sādhanā, finishing out with exercise, which is 20 minutes Pilates on the mat. And then I get up and I start dancing my hips. It's delightful. And then my day starts, have a shower and then my day starts. So that is the reason why, and I find a lot of rhythm in it. And that's the reason why I wanted to make sure that you also have access to that. And we would also love to receive feedback. And I'm gonna be having your one-to-one calls with you guys anyway. And I'm gonna keep asking you how is this kind of like unfolding and how it feels, whoever, wants to incorporate it, but for working together and what we're trying to achieve through this program, it's very beneficial. And yeah, so reach out to Allegra any moment, reach out to me. It's not like passed down to you and you're just left alone to that, okay?
Yes.
It's not like that.
I'm
Uh,
really happy to also readjust the set, if
mhm,
needed.
mhm,
Absolutely.
mhm. And yeah, that's from us.
Before
Um,
you ask me how long, for how long
yes,
they know.
I started
So
tracking and I forgot.
so usually we do minimum of 21 days and then
Mhm.
can be 42 and so on. In general, um, long vision, long term vision, short term goals. So, so if you feel that you cannot commit to 21 day because you never did and say like, oh, I'm not sure, commit to 3. Bam, bam, bam. And then you have that feeling of, okay, I did it. Maybe I can do another 3 days. So, because we don't want to create an effect of, oh my God, I have another things to do on my back and I have to do it. It's not the energy that we want to create in our life. We want to enjoy it, to take that time for us and feel the benefit of that. And often the benefit comes also from that spark of, I made it. I said something to myself and I completed. So, for a matter of how the brain works and ta 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 ta, we said minimum 21 days to start to memorize it. But also, you can put shorter goal if 21 feels too much and say, like, okay, I'm gonna go for a week. We're gonna go for 5 days from Monday to Friday, and that is gonna be already a win and a sense of completion. And then try to keep it for 21 days because then it will become part of you and it will become much easier to do it, to sit in the morning. You will really enjoy it eventually. Um, and it's beautiful what you're sharing because the technique are there, but if we don't breathe in the technique, if we don't, we call it bhava in the tradition. It's like it's your attitude. If you do it like, oh, oh my God, I'm doing this, it's not working. It's your attitude of doing things. It's how you breathe into the things. So Violetta is sharing how fast he's experiencing, but also because she has this desire in her. She's breathing into the practice and fully with her presence, with enjoyment, with belief, with faith, with knowing it. And that it creates this beautiful 360 effect in her life, in and out.
That's how I started as well. We set a goal of 21 days because
Mhm.
21 days take for a neurotransmitter, like one neuron to another neuron, to create actually a memory of a new habit. That is the reason why it's 21 days. And I passed my 21 days, and initially we said, okay, the longer the better. So we said, okay, let's do it for 3 months. But then Allegra suggested me, no, keep it shorter and then keep extending. And then I decided 40 days because of my 40 years. And I'm turning 41 this summer. So it's kind of like before I turned 41, I was doing that. But I'm closing now almost my 40, and I want to just continue doing it, probably reaching the 3 months of the same sadhana. And then on the 3 months, like I go back to Allegra and I'm getting an upgrade. And we're going to do the same here as well. After 3 months, we're gonna show up again and see, okay, how everything is unfolding, and we can just take it from there. Okay,
Thank
wonderful.
you.
I will stop the recording. For the ones watching the recording, uh, please also do uh, give it an effort and practice, see how it feels. Much love to everyone. Um, and I'll see you soon in our ones to ones.
Thank you.